The first piece I'm going to read is called I Was Lit as If from the Inside. But the room stayed dark. I noticed the cellist's luminous cufflinks, the uncanny whiteness of his shirt. As the concert ended, I heard nothing but his music, and the cold night pulled each silver pin from her hair. That was when the curtain fell. The audience could only murmur before its folds of dusty velvet. Outside, the evening had been opened like a black umbrella. And the next piece I'm going to read is called Pastoral, in which one's faith may be seen and touched. Always night, always a listless moon as we drive into the prairie's thistled heart. Around us, knotweed, its twisted foliage, the anxious spark. His body still rooms opening within a room, the staircase burning in a locked house. Reassure me, ravenous grassland, with your endless droughts, with each of your soot meadows, their heaps of dead aster. He has yet to return the hymn to my merciful throat. And this piece is called St. Bridget. Or do I mean a mourning dove, rustling in the trees? Again, the harps are quiet. Ever since her miracle stopped, the sisters have wept and wept. And when the organ starts up, groaning under vaults and beams, light catches the dust in every window. Pews begin to glisten as though they were polished steel. A dark bird warbles in the nunnery while the hagiographers nod their heads, listening intently from the eaves. And I'm going to read a few poems from a book called Petrarchan, which is available from BlazeVOX Books. Petrarchan started out as a kind of feminist response to Petrarch's sonnets. And if you're not familiar with Petrarch's sonnets, he's associated perhaps more than any other writer with the idea of the male gaze. There's a female beloved that appears throughout his poems who's never really given the opportunity to speak. So Petrarchan has a female protagonist. It's also written entirely in footnotes. So what I'm going to read is the first chapter, which is called Guide to the Holy Land. 1. A marble staircase, which he had cordoned off with a white ribbon. 2. She described the house as a series of rooms opening inside a single room. Upon entering the foyer, she found that the door had locked behind her. 3. Only then did I realize that excavation can be an unforgiving task. The terrain seemed vast, and already I felt the floorboards shifting beneath my feet. 4. Instability, a tendency toward unpredictable behavior, a fast-growing disturbance or wave in a body of water. 5. This little-known French film renders their house as an empire fraught with internal dissension. The architecture itself suggests the conflict between aesthetic beauty and the heroine's ability to navigate the seemingly endless blue corridor. 6. Translated from the French as infinite. 7. A previously unpublished letter fragment in which she refers to their brief correspondence as her house by the sea. 8. Since reaching the harbor, I have remembered only the gatekeeper, his pale hands and fragile wrists. 9. Meeting a window shattered as she reached for the little silver key. That was when her skirt became ensnared in the ruined glass. 10. The smallest disturbance seemed to devastate the ocean's pristine shore. Only then did they determine that the city had in fact been built around an inland sea. And this next chapter is called My Secret Book. 1. 2 of the darkest rooms, long since cordoned off from visitors. 2. She described their exchange as a staircase burning in a locked house. When asked, she would list each of the possessions she had lost in the fire. 3. Only then did I understand why the key to his armoire remained hidden from view. Within every box, I found only compartment after compartment. 4. Inaccessible, something unattainable by ordinary means, meaning that one seems frigid or unapproachable, referring to a research station on the North Pole. See also Pole of Inaccessibility. 5. The painting renders her conscious mind as a window overlooking a barren field. To an untrained eye, the ice gathering on the ledge seems to herald a lengthy solitude. 6. In this little-known documentary, the heroine positions a camera within her house by the sea and films the city she has built around it. 7. Translated from the German as recollection. And the book also contains some appendices, which have erasures of Petrarch's sonnets. So as part of my feminist critique of his work, I kind of dismantled it. So I'm going to read from some of these erasures. They're all untitled. This light is blind and brief. It ends in death. I am crushed with care. To make my peace, I offer to harbor with you and go where both our souls can rest. In heaven these nights, and it is now, O Lord, in the 11th year, I am fettered. Remind them the cross. Beneath the hills, a captive to others' power, bound by stern chains. Sadly, my years drag on, starlight and silver, the martyr throbs I veil. I look behind me in pale despair, love's answer. A star which, half-dressed and slipshod, wakes to tears. And I'm going to read a little bit from a book called The Moon and Other Inventions, Poems after Joseph Cornell. So this book is also written in the form of footnotes. And what I'm going to read is the first chapter, which is called A History of Inventions. 1. An unspecified type of steel dial, most often used as an ornament. 2. She placed the apparatus beneath her bedroom window, the little gears turning as the moon ascended a marble staircase. 3. When asked, she would describe the machine's faithfulness. The switch turned only for her, and now the coldest light shining from beneath her wooden door frame. 4. A percher, an opening such as a hole, gap, or slit, a space within an optical instrument which limits the amount of light passing through a lens and onto a mirror. 5. A late 18th century stage play in which a woman crawls into the hollow shaft of a telescope. The stage directions call for faint music. Also the sound of silk rustling and a tiny door coming unhinged. 6. Nights like this she flipped a little golden switch. That was when the rooms would open up before her. 7. Her ruined correspondence indicates exactly where she would have gathered these dead lilies and perfume bottles. 8. One of the lesser-known experiments in which scientists were fascinated with the involuntary movements of the female heart. 9. As one would expect, the levers produced an occasional shock. Despite the strength of these electrical currents, she claimed that the machine still left her cold. Thank you.